Captain Elaine Winters took a deep breath as she straightened her uniform. Today would change the course of human history forever. After decades of searching the stars, humans had finally made contact with alien life. Not just any alien life, but a vast community of 23 different species that called themselves the Galactic Council. "Are you ready, Ambassador Miller?" she asked, looking at the tall man beside her. John Miller nodded, though his fingers kept fidgeting with his tie. As ready as anyone can be for humanity's first meeting with aliens. The doors to the Endeavor's conference room slid open. Inside waited creatures beyond imagination. Some had blue skin with 4 arms. Others floated above their seats like jellyfish. One looked like a walking tree with glowing spots. Elaine had studied the briefing materials, but seeing them in person made her heart race. "Remember," she whispered to Miller and the small team behind them. "No sudden movements. Follow the greeting protocol exactly." A creature stepped forward. It stood on 2 legs but had gray skin that shimmered like metal. Its head was narrow with 3 black eyes arranged in a triangle. This was High Counselor Zilthrak, the leader of the Galactic Council delegation. "Welcome, humans," it said in perfect English. The translator devices worked better than expected. "We are pleased to finally meet the newest spacefaring species of this sector." Ambassador Miller stepped forward with a wide smile. He extended his hand automatically. "The pleasure is ours, High Counselor, on behalf of Earth and all humanity." The room erupted in hisses and clicks. Zilthrak jumped backward as if Miller had pulled a weapon. 2 security aliens with scales moved between them. Captain Winters felt her stomach drop. What had just happened? A small purple alien with large eyes rushed forward. "Please, withdraw your grasping appendage. This gesture is seen as a threat. Display among many council species." Miller pulled his hand back as if burned. I apologize. On Earth, a handshake is a sign of friendship and respect." The purple alien, who introduced himself as Zexak, nodded quickly. "Cultural differences, perhaps we should proceed to the meeting table." The tension in the room remained thick as everyone took their seats. Elaine noticed that Zexak was the only alien who didn't seem upset. In fact, if she could read alien expressions at all, he seemed almost amused. "We have prepared a gift for the council," said Miller, trying to recover from the handshake incident. He nodded to his assistant, who opened a small box. Inside was a beautiful crystal statue of Earth, perfectly detailed and glowing with an inner blue light. It had cost millions to create. "A model of your world?" asked one of the jellyfish aliens floating nearby. "Yes," said Miller proudly. "Our finest artists spent months creating this replica of Earth." More uncomfortable shifting among the aliens. Zexak winced. "In council culture," he explained gently, "creating miniature versions of planets is traditionally done only for worlds that have been conquered or destroyed." Miller's face went pale. "That wasn't our intention at all." High Counselor Zilthrak raised a hand for calm. "Perhaps we should move to discussions of trade and diplomatic relations." For the next hour, they tried to get the meeting back on track. The humans learned that the Council had been watching Earth for decades, waiting until humans developed faster-than-light travel to make contact. It was their standard procedure for all new species. Then came lunch. The humans had prepared Earth foods modified to be safe for all known alien biologies. Captain Winters watched nervously as the aliens examined the buffet. "What is this brown substance?" asked a tree-like alien, pointing to a chocolate cake. "It's called cake," explained Miller. "A sweet food we enjoy during celebrations." The tree alien made a sound like branches breaking. "You consume plant reproductive material for pleasure? Barbaric." Before anyone could respond, one of the human assistants sneezed loudly. 3 aliens immediately fled the room in panic. Many species consider sudden expulsions of air to be signs of imminent biological attack, Zexak whispered to Elaine. The small purple alien seemed to be the only one willing to explain things to the humans rather than just judge them. By the end of the day, the humans had accidentally insulted, frightened, or disgusted nearly every council representative. Miller looked defeated as they gathered for the final meeting. "High Counselor," he said carefully, avoiding any gestures at all. I deeply apologize for our cultural missteps today. We have much to learn about galactic standards. Zilthrak's three eyes blinked in sequence. Indeed. The Council must now discuss humanity's status. Please wait outside. For 2 hours, Captain Winters and her team waited nervously while the aliens debated inside. Zexak occasionally came out to ask odd questions like, "Do humans really sleep lying down?" Or, "Is it true you keep animals inside your dwellings that serve no practical purpose?" Finally, they were called back in. "The Galactic Council has reached a decision," announced Zilthrak, standing tall. "Humanity represents an unusual case. Your technology has reached the minimum threshold for contact, but your cultural behaviors are concerning." Elaine felt her heart sink. Were they about to be isolated from galactic society before they'd even joined it? "However," continued Zilthrak, "some council members have argued that your species shows potential despite your strange customs." Zexak made a small gesture that Elaine interpreted as pride. He must have spoken in their favor. "Therefore, humanity will be placed on probationary status," declared Zilthrak. "You may establish an embassy on the Council hub station with limited personnel. One more major diplomatic incident, however, and humanity will be banned from Council space for a standard century." It wasn't perfect, but it was better than immediate rejection. Miller bowed slightly, a gesture they had been told was acceptable to most species. "We accept these terms and thank the Council for their patience," he said. As the aliens filed out, Zexak approached Captain Winters. "Don't be discouraged," he said quietly. "The Council fears what it doesn't understand, and humans are very difficult to understand." "Why did you help us?" Elaine asked. "Every other species seemed ready to write us off." Zexak's large eyes blinked slowly. "My species was once nearly banned too. We were too curious, too adaptable. Now we're valued members. Besides," he added with a sound like chiming bells that might have been laughter, "you humans are the most interesting thing to happen to the Council in the last 1,000 years." As Captain Winters watched Zexak leave, she wondered if that was a compliment or a warning. Either way, humanity had a foothold in galactic society, a probationary one, but a foothold nonetheless. And they wouldn't waste this chance. The real challenge would be lasting longer than a week without getting themselves banned for good. 6 months had passed since the disastrous first contact meeting. The small human delegation now lived in a cramped section of the massive Galactic Council hub station. The station was like a city in space, home to thousands of aliens from all 23 Council species. Dr. Alan Ross stared out the viewport at the swirling blue gas giant the station orbited. He missed Earth's blue skies and open spaces. The human quarters were small, and they were not allowed to wander freely around most of the station. "How's the alien biology research going?" asked engineer Samantha Kelly as she entered the common room. Her dark hair was tied back, and she had smudges of something blue on her work uniform. Alan sighed. "Slow. They won't let me access their main medical database. They say humans aren't trusted enough yet." Samantha nodded. After the diplomatic disaster of first contact, humans were treated with caution by most aliens. Some were openly hostile, particularly Counselor Vrelith, a tall insect-like alien who kept pushing for humans to be banned completely. The station lights flickered suddenly. "That's the third time today," Samantha frowned. "Something's not right with the power systems." The lights flickered again, then went out completely. Emergency lights came on, bathing everything in dim red. A voice came over the station-wide communication system, speaking in multiple languages. The message in English was clear. "Attention all station inhabitants. We are experiencing a severe power failure. Please remain calm and stay in your current locations." Alan and Samantha looked at each other. This was serious. "The life support systems run on that power," Samantha said quietly. Before they could discuss further, their communication panel lit up. It was Zexak, the purple alien who had been friendly to humans since first contact. "Humans, we need help." Zexak's voice was urgent. "The main power core is failing. and our engineers can't stop the cascade failure. The station's life support will fail in 3 hours. I'll come right away, Samantha said, grabbing her toolkit. I've been studying the station's power systems. You're not authorized to enter the main engineering section, Zexak replied. But I think this emergency might change that. Meet me at Junction 47, near your sector. 20 minutes later, Samantha and Alan were hurrying through the station corridors with Zexak. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved around in panic. Some needed special atmospheres to breathe, and they would be the first to die if life support failed. Why did you call us? Alan asked Zexak as they rushed along. Because humans solve problems differently, Zexak said. Our engineers follow strict procedures. When those procedures fail, they don't know what to do next. They reached the main engineering section. Inside, aliens with multiple arms worked frantically at control panels. Alarms blared. In the center of the room stood Counselor Vrelith, clicking his mandibles in distress. You brought humans here? Vrelith's voice translator couldn't hide his anger. This is against protocol. The protocols aren't working, Zexak argued. Let them try. Samantha stepped forward, trying to look confident despite her racing heart. I'm an engineer. May I see the power core diagnostics? A tree-like alien with glowing spots reluctantly moved aside from a control panel. Samantha studied the alien, symbols, grateful for the translation training she'd received. The main power relays are overloading because of a feedback loop, she said after a few minutes. But why didn't the safety systems kick in? They did, said a jellyfish-like alien floating nearby. But the backup systems are also failing. That shouldn't be possible unless... Samantha's eyes widened. Unless someone or something deliberately bypassed the safety protocols. The room went silent. Are you accusing us of sabotage? Counselor Vrelith's voice was dangerous. No, Samantha said quickly. I'm saying the station might be under attack. While the aliens argued about this possibility, Samantha turned to Alan. We need to manually reset the power core, but the radiation in there would kill most species. What about humans? Alan asked. We could survive long enough to do it, but barely, she replied. The protective suits might help. Vrelith overheard them. You would risk your lives, why? Because we live here too, Alan said simply. Before Vrelith could respond, Samantha was already requesting the protective suits. The alien engineers explained that the manual override required physically pulling lever-like structures in a specific sequence inside the core room. Our protocols say we need council approval for non-council species to access the core, one alien said uncertainly. We don't have time for protocols, Zexak argued. The station will be dead in 2 hours. Vrelith stepped forward, his insect-like face unreadable. I take responsibility. Let the humans try. 15 minutes later, Samantha and Alan stood at the entrance to the core room wearing bulky protective suits. Remember the sequence, Samantha said, and we have to be fast. I'll do the left side, you do the right. Alan nodded. They entered the core room. Even through the suits, they could feel the heat and radiation. The core glowed an angry red instead of its normal blue. Samantha moved to the right wall and began pulling the alien levers in the sequence they had memorized. Alan did the same on the left. The work was physically demanding as the levers were designed for stronger alien species. Time's running out, Alan gasped through the communication system. His suit was showing dangerous radiation levels. 2 more, Samantha grunted, straining against a particularly stubborn lever. When the final lever moved, the core pulsed once, twice, then gradually changed from red to purple to blue. They had done it. Stumbling out of the core room, Samantha and Alan collapsed as medical teams rushed to help them. The radiation exposure had been severe, but the alien medical technology was advanced. They would recover. Counselor Vrelith approached their medical beds later that day. You saved the station, he said, his voice translator conveying reluctant respect. Without your unconventional approach, thousands would have died. Did you find out what caused the failure? Alan asked weakly. Yes. An ancient automated defense system activated when it detected unusual energy signatures. It thought the station was under attack and tried to shut down the core. Unusual energy signatures? Samantha asked. Vrelith's mandibles clicked, in what might have been embarrassment. From your human communications equipment, your technology uses frequencies our systems were not programmed to recognize. Zeksak, who had been listening nearby, made the chiming sound that was his species. Laughter. So humans almost destroyed us by accident, then saved us on purpose. How typical. A day later, the full Galactic Council held an emergency session. Captain Winters and Ambassador Miller attended, along with Samantha and Alan once they were well enough to walk. The Council acknowledges the brave actions of the humans, High Counselor Zilthrak announced. In light of this service to the station, certain restrictions on human movement and access will be lifted. It wasn't full acceptance, but it was progress. As they left the council chamber, Samantha noticed Vrelith watching them. I still believe humans are dangerous, the insect-like counselor said quietly. But perhaps that is not always a bad thing. Alan smiled. We'll take that as a compliment. The humans returned to their quarters, which suddenly seemed less like a prison and more like a foothold in a vast, complex galaxy. There was still a long way to go, but for the first time, some aliens were looking at humans not with fear or disgust, but with something that might one day become respect. 1 year had passed since humans first met the Galactic Council. After saving the hub station from the power failure, humans gained more respect. They were still on probation, but now had greater freedom to move around council space. Commander. Ryan Cortez stood on the observation deck of the diplomatic outpost, near the edge of council territory. The outpost orbited a small moon in a system with 2 suns. It was beautiful, but Ryan wasn't looking at the view. He was studying reports from attacked colonies. Any patterns? Asked Security Officer Lisa Powell as she joined him. Her red hair was cut short, practical for someone always ready for action. Yes, but not ones the council analysts are noticing, Ryan replied, pointing to the star map. These attacks aren't random. They're testing defenses, looking for weak spots. Over the past 3 months, unknown ships had attacked several distant colonies belonging to different council species. The council called the attackers the Fringe, since they came from beyond the explored edge of the galaxy. The council ships always arrive too late, Lisa noted. Their defense protocol is too slow. Ryan nodded. They send ships after an attack happens. By then, the Fringe are gone. A tall, gray-skinned alien entered the room. This was Krell, a military strategist assigned to study the attacks. His species had 4 eyes and skin like stone. Commander Cortez, Officer Powell, Krell greeted them formally. Any insights from your human perspective? Ryan had learned that human perspective was how aliens politely said primitive thinking, but he didn't take offense. The Fringe are using hit-and-run tactics, Ryan explained. They attack, grab what they want, and leave before defenses can respond. It's classic guerrilla warfare. Krall's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Guerrilla? Named after old Earth conflicts, Lisa explained. When a smaller force uses surprise and mobility against a larger one. Interesting, Krall said, though his tone suggested he didn't find primitive human warfare concepts very useful. The Council has increased patrol ships in all sectors. Ryan shook his head. That's not going to work. You need forward outposts with rapid response teams, not big ships that take hours to arrive. Before Krall could respond, alarms blared throughout. The station. A communications officer rushed in. Sir, Fringe ships approaching, at least 5 vessels heavily armed. Krall immediately activated his communication device. This is Strategist Krall. Implement Defense Protocol 7. Evacuate all non-essential personnel. Ryan studied the tactical display. They'll breach our defenses before help arrives. Council protocols are clear, Krall stated. We must evacuate. Lisa looked at Ryan. Both knew what the other was thinking. The outpost held vital diplomatic information and representatives from 7 species. If it fell, the damage would be severe. With respect, sir, Lisa said to Kral. We don't have time to evacuate everyone. We need to fight. With what? Kral asked. We have minimal security forces here. This is a diplomatic outpost, not a military base. Ryan stepped forward. We have 2 security shuttles with weapons. The station has defense turrets. And we have 20 trained human security personnel. Against 5 warships? Kral's disbelief was clear. We don't need to defeat them, Ryan explained quickly. We just need to hold until help arrives. And we have something they don't expect. What is that? Kral asked. Ryan smiled grimly. Humans. Against Kral's objections, Ryan and Lisa implemented their plan. The human security team split into small groups. Some took control of the defense turrets. Others prepared the security shuttles. The rest created traps in case the Fringe boarded the station. This goes against all Council defense protocols, Kral said as he watched the humans work with frightening efficiency. Sometimes protocols get you killed, Lisa replied as she checked her weapon. The Fringe ships arrived, surrounding the outpost. Their first shots disabled the main communication array. Standard procedure would be to continue disabling the station's systems one by one before boarding. But Ryan had anticipated this. Now, he ordered through the communication system. The 2 security shuttles hidden behind the station's docking arms suddenly launched. They were small and quick, darting between the much larger Fringe ships. The human pilots flew in unpredictable patterns, firing at sensitive spots on the enemy vessels. What are they doing? Kral asked, watching in amazement. Those shuttles have no chance against warships. They're not trying to win, Lisa explained. They're creating confusion. While the shuttles distracted the Fringe ships, the station's defense turrets, now manned by humans, opened fire. They didn't aim for the ship's main hulls, which were heavily armored. Instead, they targeted engines and weapon systems. One Fringe ship's weapons went offline. Another spun out of formation as its engines faltered. It's working, Lisa said. But the Fringe adapted quickly. 3 ships moved to corner the shuttles while the other 2 approached the station. They were going to board. We need to fall back to defensible positions, Ryan ordered over the comm. Implement Phase 2. When the first Fringe soldiers cut through the outpost's docking bay doors, they found it empty. They moved cautiously, through the corridors, weapons ready. They were tall creatures with pale skin and 4 arms, each carrying advanced weapons. They found no resistance until they reached the main corridor junction. Then chaos erupted. Humans attacked from multiple directions at once. They had created barricades at strategic points and set traps along the corridors. The Fringe soldiers, used to overwhelming their enemies with superior firepower, were suddenly caught in crossfire. Lisa led one team that moved constantly, firing from one position, then quickly relocating. Ryan led another team that lured Fringe soldiers into prepared ambushes. Kral watched the security feeds in shock. This is not organized warfare, he said to a human technician beside him. This is madness. This is how humans fought for most of our history, the technician replied. When you can't match your enemy's strength, you use what you have. The battle continued for over an hour. The human defenders took losses but inflicted heavy damage on the Fringe boarding parties. Finally, sensors detected Council warships approaching. The remaining Fringe ships quickly retreated, leaving their boarding parties behind. When it was over, Ryan found Kral staring at the tactical display showing the retreating Fringe ships. Your people fought unusually, Kral said. His tone had changed. There was something new there. Respect. We fought to win, Ryan said simply. You disobeyed direct orders to evacuate, Kral noted. By Council law, that should result in severe punishment. Lisa joined them, her uniform torn and dirty from the fighting. Are you going to report us? Kral was silent for a long moment. The outpost stands. The diplomatic data is secure. Many lives were saved. He paused. Perhaps human tactics deserve further study. 2 days later, a full Council delegation arrived to assess the damage and take reports. Ryan and Lisa expected reprimands for breaking protocol, Instead, they were called to a meeting with High Counselor Zilthrak himself. "The Council has reviewed the battle records," Zilthrak said, his three eyes fixed on the humans. "Your methods were unconventional, dangerous, against all established protocols." Ryan and Lisa stood at attention, waiting for the punishment, and yet, Zilthrak continued, effective. The Council has voted to establish a joint security task force. Humans will train Council security forces in these adaptive tactics. As they left the meeting, Kral was waiting outside. "I will be working with your task force," he said. "I wish to understand how humans think in battle." Ryan smiled. "It's not that complicated. We just don't like to lose." "That," said Kral, "is what the Council finds most fascinating about your species, and most concerning." 2 years had passed since first contact. Humans were now a common sight on the Council hub station and on many alien worlds. After proving their worth in the crisis with the power failure and the defense against the fringe attackers, the Council decided to understand humans better. Professor Daniel Garcia walked through the gardens of his university in California. Beside him floated Meeptor, a jellyfish-like alien scholar with translucent tentacles that glowed with soft blue light. "And these are roses," Daniel explained, pointing to the red flowers. "On Earth, they symbolize love and beauty." Meeptor's translation device hummed. "Fascinating. You assign emotional meanings to plant reproductive structures. My species views such attachments as highly irrational." Daniel smiled. He had been hosting Meeptor for 2 weeks as part of the new cultural exchange program. The Council wanted its members to better understand humans and humans to better understand the galaxy. "Humans find meaning in many things," Daniel said. "It's part of how we make sense of the world." Nearby, a group of children played, laughing as they chased each other. Meeptor's tentacles rippled in what Daniel had learned with surprise. "Your young engage in simulated pursuit behaviors," Meeptor observed. "Is this combat training?" "No, they're just playing tag." "Having fun," Daniel explained. "Don't young members of your species play?" "We absorb information directly from our educational nodes," Meeptor said. "There is no need for such inefficient activity." At the same time, across campus, linguist Olivia Wright was meeting with representatives from 5 different alien species. Her office walls were covered with charts showing the relationships between Earth languages and the beginnings of her work on alien language structures. "The main problem," Olivia explained, "is that humans use metaphors constantly. When we say time is running out, we don't mean time is actually running anywhere." A tall, tree-like alien raised a branch-like arm. "This explains much confusion. When humans at the diplomatic meeting said they were dying to meet us, we prepared medical assistance. The aliens in the room made sounds that their translation devices interpreted as laughter." "Exactly," Olivia nodded. "And when we say break a leg to wish someone good luck, we definitely don't want any legs broken." "Most puzzling," said a small, furry alien. "How do you understand each other with such contradictory meanings?" "Context," Olivia explained. "Humans are very good at understanding things in context." Meanwhile, on the Council hub station, a special event was taking place. For the first time, humans were sharing their arts with the galactic community. Music, paintings, dancing, and more were on display in the main gathering hall. Zeksak, the friendly purple alien who had helped humans since first contact, guided important council members through the exhibition. "This is what humans call music," Zeksak explained as a string quartet played Mozart. "Note how they use vibrations in air to create patterns." High Counselor Zilthrak listened, his 3 eyes half closed. Most species develop sound-based communication, but few turn it into such complex patterns with no clear message. "That is the message," Zeksak said. "The feeling it creates." Meeptor had been especially fascinated by human music during his time on Earth. He had collected hundreds of recordings, from classical to rock to folk songs from around the world. "I cannot explain why vibrations in air should cause emotional responses," Meeptor told Professor Garcia as they walked through the campus music building. Yet when I hear your Bach or Beatles, I experience sensations that have no scientific explanation. That's art. Daniel smiled. It doesn't always need explanation. In another part of the exhibition, aliens crowded around displays of human paintings and sculptures. A group of council scientists scanned the artworks, looking confused. "What purpose do these serve?" asked one scientist, pointing to a landscape painting. "It doesn't contain information storage or technological function." Olivia Wright, who had joined the exhibition with her alien linguistics group, tried to explain. "Art isn't about function. It's about expression, beauty, meaning." The alien scientists looked at each other in confusion. Humans devote significant resources to creating objects with no practical use. "Yes," Olivia said proudly. "We've been doing it for at least 50,000 years." The most surprising part of the cultural exchange came 3 months later. Aliens who had spent time among humans began incorporating human ideas into their own cultures. Meeptor's species, normally focused solely on collecting and sharing information, began creating musical compositions based on human models. The tree-like aliens started painting with colored saps. Even the insect-like species of Counselor Vrelith began experimenting with dance-like movements inspired by human ballet. "This is unprecedented," Zexek told Captain Winters as they watched a group of aliens attempting to play Earth musical instruments. "Most species take decades or centuries to adopt aspects of other cultures. Humans have influenced the galaxy in months." "We're adaptable," Elaine said, "and curious." "Too curious, perhaps," said a voice behind them. It was Counselor Vrelith. Though still stern, he had become less hostile toward humans over time. "What do you mean?" asked Elaine. "The Council Scientific Committee has been studying humans intensively," Vrelith explained. "Your brains process information differently than any known species. You make connections others don't see. You find patterns where others see chaos." "Is that a problem?" Elaine asked. "It could be." Vrelith's mandibles clicked softly. "Such mental processes were once common in the galaxy long ago. Many species evolved away from them, finding them too unpredictable." Before Elaine could ask more questions, an excited Meeptor floated up to them. "Captain Winters, I have composed music based on Earth forms. Would you listen and provide feedback?" The music Meeptor played was strange, partly alien, partly familiar. It sounded like classical Earth music, but with new tones and rhythms no human had ever created. "It's beautiful," Elaine said truthfully. "Something new, built on something familiar." "Yes." Meeptor's tentacles glowed brightly. "This is what humans excel at, taking the familiar and making it new. My species collects information for thousands of years, but we rarely create new combinations." Later that evening, Professor Garcia and Olivia Wright joined Captain Winters for dinner in the human section of the station. They compared notes on their experiences with the cultural exchange. "The aliens learned so quickly," Olivia said. "But they seem surprised by their own creativity." Daniel nodded. "Meeptor told me that many council species evolved toward stability and away from what they call disruptive thinking. They value order above all. But now they're starting to value human creativity," Elaine noted. "I heard the Science Committee has asked for human help with 3 technology problems they've been stuck on for decades. Because we think differently," Olivia said. "We make mental leaps they don't." As they ate, a message arrived for Captain Winters. The council had called a special session for the following day. All senior human representatives were required to attend. "What do you think it means?" Daniel asked. Elaine read the message twice. "It says they're going to make a final decision about humanity's status in the council." They fell silent. After 2 years of progress, would humans finally be accepted as full members? Or had their disruptive influence on council cultures triggered new concerns? "Whatever happens," Olivia said quietly, "they can't ignore us anymore." "No," Elaine agreed. "For better or worse, humanity has made its mark on the galaxy." The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council was filled to capacity. Representatives from all 23 member species, sat in curved rows that rose high like a giant bowl. In the center stood a circular platform where speakers would address the Council. Senior Ambassador Heather Brown adjusted her formal diplomatic uniform. After 3 years of working with alien species, she still found the Grand Chamber intimidating. Beside her stood President Joseph Carter, who had traveled from Earth for this historic session. This was the day the Council would decide humanity's final status. "Are you ready?" Heather asked the President quietly. Joseph nodded. "As ready as anyone can be when the future of our species and galactic society is about to be decided." High Counselor Zilthrak entered the chamber, his metallic skin catching the light as he moved to the center platform. The room fell silent. "This special session will now begin," Zilthrak announced, his voice carrying through the vast space. "Today we decide the status of humanity within the Galactic Council community." Screens around the chamber displayed images of human activities over the past 3 years. The first contact meeting, humans saving the hub station during the power failure, defending the outpost against fringe attackers, sharing art and music with alien species. "When humans first contacted us," Zilthrak continued, "many council members advocated for immediate restriction. Others suggested banning human expansion entirely." Councillor Vrelith rose from his seat. The insect-like alien had been one of humanity's strongest critics in the beginning. "I was among those who feared humans," Vrelith admitted. "Their unpredictable behaviors and disregard for established protocols seemed dangerous." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Everyone knew Vrelith had once called for humans to be banned from council space completely. "But," Vrelith continued, "I have observed humans closely. They saved my life during the hub station crisis. They defended our outposts when protocols failed. They think in ways that are both disturbing and valuable." From another section, a tree-like alien raised a branch arm. "The scientific committee has concerns. Humans spread ideas too quickly. 7 species have already adopted human cultural elements. Such rapid change threatens stability." More aliens joined the debate. Some praised human creativity and adaptability. Others warned about the chaos humans could bring to the carefully ordered galactic community. Finally, it was humanity's turn to speak. Ambassador Brown stepped onto the central platform, looking up at the thousands of alien faces surrounding her. "Respected members of the Council," she began, "for 3 years humans have lived and worked among you. We've made mistakes, we've broken protocols, we've confused and sometimes frightened you." She paused, looking around the chamber. "But we've also helped. When the station was dying, we entered radiation chambers to save it. When attackers came, we fought in ways you hadn't considered. When you shared your knowledge, we offered new perspectives." The chamber was completely silent now. "Humans don't fit easily into your categories," Heather continued. "We're messy, we're emotional. We make connections that don't always make sense. But these traits are our strength, not our weakness." High Counselor Zilthrak's 3 eyes blinked slowly. "Ambassador Brown speaks well of human qualities, but the Council must consider the stability of galactic society. Humans have caused more change in 3 years than most species bring in centuries." President Carter stepped forward next. Though he wasn't scheduled to speak, protocol allowed him as Earth's leader. "High Counselor, honorable members," he began. "Before you vote, there's something you should know. In the past year, human scientists have solved 3 technological problems that Council records show have stumped your best minds for decades." Shocked murmurs filled the chamber. "First, the quantum communication delay that limited faster-than-light transmissions," Carter said. "Our scientists found a solution by connecting concepts from 3 different fields, something your specialists didn't try because they work in separate disciplines." Zilthrak leaned forward. "Is this confirmed?" A jellyfish-like alien floated up from the scientific section. "It is, High Counselor. Humans gave us the solution 3 months ago. We've been testing it. It works." "Second," Carter continued, "the radiation sickness that has plagued deep space travelers. Our medical researchers created a treatment by adapting an old Earth medicine for a new purpose." "And third?" Zilthrak asked. "The fringe attack prediction system," Carter said. "By looking for patterns your analysts considered irrelevant, we've created a model that predicts attacks with 87% accuracy. The chamber erupted in conversation. This was unprecedented. Most new species took centuries to contribute meaningful advances to council knowledge. After order was restored, Zilthrak spoke again. These contributions are significant, yet they highlight our concern. Humans bring rapid change. The council was founded on principles of stable, careful progress. Zexak, the friendly purple alien who had helped humans since first contact, rose to speak. High Counselor, I have studied ancient council records not accessed for millennia, Zexak said. They show that many early council species once thought more like humans. Over time, evolution and cultural pressures selected for stability over creativity. What are you suggesting? Zilthrak asked. That humans represent a cognitive approach our galaxy once had but lost, Zexak explained. Their minds make connections ours don't. They see patterns we miss. They imagine possibilities we can't. The chamber was silent again as council members considered this idea. After hours of debate, the council called for a vote. The results appeared on the large screens. 11 species voted to grant humans full membership, 9 voted for continued restrictions, and 3 abstained. No clear majority, Zilthrak stood in the center of the chamber, considering the divided council. For the first time in 10,000 years, the council cannot reach consensus on a new species, he announced. This itself shows the unique position humans occupy in our community. He paused, his 3 eyes scanning the chamber. Therefore, I invoke the ancient provision. Humans will be classified as provisional permanent members, a new category created specifically for their unique case. Ambassador Brown looked confused. What does that mean, High Counselor? It means, Ambassador, that humans will have most privileges of full members, but certain restrictions will remain. More importantly, it means you cannot be banned or removed without unanimous council vote. After the session ended, Zexak approached the human delegation. Do you understand what happened today? He asked with excitement in his voice. We got a special membership category, Heather said, still trying to process it all. More than that, Zexak explained. Zilthrak invoked the ancient provision. It hasn't been used in thousands of years. President Carter looked intrigued. What's the significance? The ancient provision was created for species who bring necessary disruption, Zexak said. The founders of the council understood that too much stability leads to stagnation. They created a path for species who could shake things up without breaking the system. So we're officially disruptive, Heather smiled. You're officially essential, Zexak corrected. The council needs humans precisely because you think differently. You can't be banned because the galaxy needs your chaos as much as it needs our order. As they left the chamber, High Counselor Zilthrak approached them. President Carter, a moment please. The others stepped away, leaving the human leader alone with the council head. There is one more thing you should know, Zilthrak said quietly. The ancient records Zexak found suggest that long ago, many species thought like humans. They didn't evolve away from it naturally. What happened? Carter asked. The records are unclear, Zilthrak said. But they hint that something changed minds throughout the galaxy. Something that valued order over creativity, stability over innovation. Something or someone? Carter asked sharply. Zilthrak's 3 eyes blinked in sequence. That, President Carter, is why the galaxy may need humans more than either of us realizes. You ask questions others have forgotten how to ask. As the High Counselor walked away, Carter rejoined Ambassador Brown and the other humans. What did he tell you? She asked. That we have a mystery to solve, Carter replied, and that being different might be humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy. Across the chamber, Counselor Vrelith watched the humans leave. They will bring chaos, he said to a colleague. Yes, the other alien agreed. And perhaps that's exactly what the galaxy needs.